Carmen Best. It is so good to have you here. We are doing a LinkedIn Live. It's also streaming live on YouTube. And you are a guest today from Confidently Speaking. You're a member of Confidently Speaking. And the thing that I love about our relationship is we've known each other for a very long time.
Indeed, we
Yes,
have.
we have. We met at a church camp in Botno, North Dakota called Camp Metagoshi. I believe I was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been about, well, I was a little older than that, but in the zone. Yes.
We were in that zone.
Yep.
And
second year of college.
we were camp counselors. And that's when we met. And then we had like a 20-year gap.
About that. Yep.
About a 20-year gap. And here we are again.
Yes.
Yes.
So glad to be back together.
Very excited. And you're part of the Confidently Speaking community. And so if you're watching and you're new to this, I've been doing these LinkedIn Lives with different members of the community. And the reason why I do this is to get people outside of their comfort zones. So let me ask you this. Are you outside of your comfort zone right now?
You bet. I am outside my comfort zone.
I love it.
I'm excited.
Because part of growth is getting uncomfortable.
And
I love it.
Live is something different.
It is. Well, it is. It's a different muscle. So I'm really grateful that you're here and you made a choice to get comfortably uncomfortable today. So thank you. And I would love for you to just take a moment now to just introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Meredith. I am genuinely excited to be here. And there's a lot that's happened since we were at that camp in north central North Dakota. I have since then, I've worked in the energy industry for about 20 years, and I love working in energy. And I kind of got my start after I served in the Peace Corps. I was in Niger, West Africa, and while I was there, it was really the absence of energy that kind of intrigued me about what a career in energy could look like. I was interested in sustainable development, and I was interested in climate change and those sorts of things. And the more time that I spent with women in Niger, I really got to understand that they were the ultimate energy managers. In effect, they were subsistence farmers. So they were growing the food that they ate. They were processing the food that they would eat, mostly by manual labor, pounding millet to get it off the stalks and then ground it into flour. And then, of course, they would be cooking that food, and they were the ones that would go out to the fields and gather the wood to fuel those fires, et cetera. And then they also played a role of kind of distributing the food once it was cooked, who would get what for any given day. And that was all energy management. The calories, they come back and do it all over again the next day. And they're doing it today. I mean, at this very moment, subsistence farmers that's their gig, right? But for me, never having seen that before, what really struck me was how intimate their relationship was with their energy resources and how important energy was for development. I don't work in development directly anymore, but since then I've been working in the clean energy space and energy efficiency in particular. And again, it's all about how you use energy, when you use energy, and how it can be used here, at least in optimizing our whole system and our whole energy system. So it's a little bit less of that micromanagement, but more of the macro systems management, and the demand side of that equation is just as important as building out power plants, et cetera. How we use energy informs how we can optimize the whole system.
That's beautiful.
That's what I've been up to.
Yeah, no, that's really beautiful. I'm curious because the two of us have had this conversation before. I've heard your story and your background in the past, and I'm just curious. To me, there's the relationship with energy that you were just talking about, this very intimate relationship to energy and that energy source. How do you see people now, especially in this culture, the relationship to energy? And if there's anything that you would advise us to shift in thinking, what would that be?
Yeah, I think some of the ways that we've evolved, I think earlier, in nuclear energy back in the 70s, probably when we were babies, right? The whole meme was too cheap to meter. So one of the principles of our whole energy infrastructure that we built out in this country is you just don't have to think about it.
Right.
And with the advent of all the different technologies that are available now, from battery storage to electric vehicles to all those different things, we're effectively managing. We have these little micropods of managing energy all the time, not to mention our phones, right? That's a big energy management exercise. So I think part of it is just being an active participant in your energy usage. And there's so many more tools and options out there now for you to be an active participant. Running a business is probably going to be a big chunk of your bottom line energy consumption or energy usage. As a residential consumer, there's different ways that you can be engaging to reduce your overall bills, but also be able to reduce your carbon footprint if that matters to you, or support the grid. A lot of places are having really high load growth and peak impacts from that, where there's going to be blackouts or other instances. So everyone can be pitching in basically by using energy at different times of the day, so we don't exacerbate the system that we built, and keep costs low. Because if we can if we don't have to keep building, which we do have to keep building, but if we can do it in the right places, then the whole system can be more cost effective for everyone.
Is there anything, thank you for that. Is there anything that you like specifically do with your own family in regards to just like little baby steps or things that people can do in their homes?
Yes and no. We participated in demand response programs. That's really, my husband enjoys doing that. So you'll get an alert on your app, and he would go around and unplug every device that we had, including the refrigerator.
Oh, wow.
And we'd get points and be able to kind of, it was mostly a game.
Yeah.
We would gamify the whole thing. And that's had if a million people, not a million, but if a lot of people do that all at the same time, it can have a really big impact. We've seen it in lots of different states, in California and Texas, like aggregating those actions from individuals can have a really big impact. Other than that, where I live, there's a lot of solar energy that's being produced in the middle of the day. So if I do my laundry or wash my dishes midday, that's kind of a logical time for me to do it if I want to keep my carbon footprint down. And it also aligns with the grid needs, because there's a lot of excess energy during that time of the day because solar is so plentiful.
Okay, very cool. I love that. Thank you. I'm curious. So you are a woman in the energy industry, and I know that part of the lure of the topic today for our audiences was to talk about what is it like to be a woman in a pretty male-dominated space, and how have you negotiated that and used your voice?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So it's funny to even try to answer that, because I haven't really thought about it a lot. So I wanted to just go back to a couple of stories.
Yeah.
When I was in undergrad, I went to the School of Engineering and Mines at the University of North Dakota. And that indeed was, I wasn't a minority per se, but there weren't as many women in the engineering department as a lot of other things. So I kind of got used to it, I guess, at an early stage. And then when I came into the demand side of the energy world, there were lots of women. And in fact, when I was at the California Public Utilities Commission, which regulates energy, all my bosses were women. So that was kind of nice in that stage of my career, because it was really easy for me to see, oh, that's what I want to do next. And I saw women in those roles doing the job and having the formal authority to go and get the job done. So they were great mentors, and they were great inspiration to keep going. And then I've also had just really great collaborators and networks and community in the industry that I've been in. The demand side is a a lot of people came to it because of the mission of trying to understand how energy efficiency and demand response and energy management could play a big role. So it just attracts a lot of folks who are, sensitive to a lot of different things, but there's a pretty big presence of women in the space. So I've had a lot of peers and I've had a lot of mentors to kind of follow on my journey. And hopefully I've been able to cultivate that among younger women that are in the industry too, with staff that have worked with me or colleagues that have been on teams with me as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So is there anything in particular, like if you were talking to one of those younger women, like a mentee of yours, what would be like the advice right now that you would give them if you could give them one piece of advice?
Keep showing up because you just never know where your voice is going to be needed. And I think one of women's secret superpowers, and I only call it secret because we mask a lot in male-dominated worlds. Okay, the women all know what I'm talking about. Is that sometimes we can just listen really well and wait for the right moments to kind of jump in and share the information. And if you can learn to do that without kind of the anxious energy that goes with having to prove yourself right, but really understand the situation, like that's going to bring the whole group together and be able to get to solutioning. And that's not uniquely female, but I do think women have a little bit more aptitude in that space to be listeners but I've also seen men do it pretty well too.
So what I'm just reflect back what I'm hearing you say is that your advice would be like, keep showing up and be a great listener. But I'm also hearing, and you didn't say this, which is also be really intentional. You said finding the solution, but being really like mindful and intentional that the outcome is the benefit of the whole, right? So yeah.
And you can't always, I think you can't know what the outcome. I think a lot of us, myself included, operate with kind of what we want that end thing to be. And if you can leave the door open a little bit more by being able to listen and be accessible, you're going to get to better outcomes. Like you might have in your head, like exactly how it's supposed to work, but that could close you off to other opportunities. And that is, I'm sure some people that know me are listening to this and they're like, oh yeah, right, Carmen, like you're not a master of that by any stretch, but it's a growth edge for me, right? Of learning to listen and also being, you work with the end in mind, but also not be preemptive about what that's going to be.
Yeah. Right? So I'm hearing adaptability, collaboration, and if you're truly listening, you're able to adapt better. And then one of my favorite mantras is not too tight, not too loose. So that's what I'm hearing in that, which is like, just don't, your end in mind. Yes, it's good to have a path. It's good to have an end goal. But as we all know, things are not linear. And when we collaborate, we tend to find better solutions anyway. So it's giving yourself the ability to stay open. Which we talk about a lot in Confidently Speaking because we do improv training, right? So we're always talking about how to be adaptable, how to work collaboratively with each other. And it's not just how to stand up on a stage and deliver a presentation, but it's also about how you can insert your voice in the room. So can you share with me, since you've been in Confidently Speaking, have you noticed any difference in how you show up in rooms?
Absolutely. One of the things that we've learned in the class is just it's just a joy to be in that class. It's such a safe space that if you can kind of recreate that in other environments, you can just I can bring my shoulders back down and just kind of like let things flow a little bit more, because we're usually so worked up about the outcomes in other instances when we're speaking that it constricts our communication. But when we're Confidently Speaking, we're just letting everything flow, and it feels like an opportunity to just be your pure, authentic self. to be totally honest, I'll just off the cuff here,
Yes.
Meredith, that's how I felt when I was at camp.
Yes.
Back in the day. It's like we did the most zany, silly, ridiculous things when you're a counselor at a summer camp. And if you can channel that joy and that energy around speaking and sharing information, because that's really what you're doing, boy, that seems like the best place to be.
It's we're inviting in a sense of play.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I love that you say joy, because work doesn't have to be boring. Work doesn't have to be this weight. You can bring joy, and you can bring passion into the messages that you're sharing with others, or the projects that you're working on with others. And I feel like that alone, that point of view or that mindset, can really help with the collaboration piece that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I would say that, and if you do have the chance, and I guess I hope everyone has this chance to follow your passions and let the rest fall into place. Like, what a blessing that is. For me, when I look back on my life, like, I call them miraculous coincidences, the things that just fell in place to give me different opportunities, different perspectives, different paths to pursue. They all came out of kind of some of the core elements of what I cared about, from the environment, all these different things, that I can just engage with that kind of passion around the things that I care about. And I don't remember what the quote was, but I get to come to my job every day with a sense of my career and purpose. And I wish that for everyone, because it really makes life so much more fulfilling. And the friction that we're all going to experience in our jobs, if you have a place where you can be contributing to a bigger mission and a bigger picture, that's really made all the difference for me.
That's beautiful. So, like, when there is that friction there, you can remember, well, this is a bigger purpose, and so I can handle that a little bit more with grace, is what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yes. And some compassion for yourself and for the other people that are around.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that. I love this sense of play. So do you want to play? Should we do something to play? So what's one of your favorite exercises in Confidently Speaking?
Oh, I like the one where we build a sentence, one word.
Oh, you want to do one word at a time story? Can we do that? Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, sure. Let's do it. Okay, I'll let you begin it. There.
Once was
potato.
Named. Spud.
Spud
was anxious.
And
he
forgot
to
wash
his
underwear.
Oh, no.
Period. Is that the end of the story? No.
Oh, sorry. Were we still going?
let's give Bud some hope. Okay.
Okay. His poor underwear. And is it on me? Okay. One, his
partner
decided help
Bud.
Help Spud. And
took
Spud
to laundromat.
Period. Where
they
proceeded scrub
underwear.
Where is this going?
I don't know. I love it. But I think bravo. That's
Yay!
very good. That was
That is the
awesome.
fun. That is the fun and silliness of it.
So much fun and silliness. And it's so funny because I've done one word at a time story. I've lost count like a gazillion times, right? Because I've been doing this forever and ever and ever. And I still notice little things in myself that happen, like this need to be right when there's no wrong answer.
Right.
Holding my breath. Right?
Yes.
Like I'm thinking, this time I didn't do it so much, but sometimes I do it, which is like not being as present, like trying to write the story before the story's been written.
Right.
So those were just a few of the things that were happening with me. Anything happening with you that you noticed?
I do the same thing of like imagining what, you just said. Once I got to Spud, I was like creating this whole vision scape of who Spud was. And it wasn't quite a Mr. Potato Head, but it was pretty close. So I had to kind of stick that over there imagination wise to stay focused on the laundromat and
The laundromat.
and the underwear themes.
The underwear themes. And it's, first thought, best thought, right? Like that was the first word that popped out of my head was underwear. You're welcome. So it's like, and then sometimes, if you put this in a real world situation, what would some of these what are some of the things that we learned here that would be applicable to that?
Yeah, I would say, man, there are so many moments where you just have to think on your feet. I'm thinking of meetings with a client, a customer meeting, and they ask a hard question, or maybe you're meeting with your board and they are concerned about some information that you shared, or they're really excited about something and they want to learn more. And you might just end up doing kind of word salad coming out versus being able to slow down, take a breath. I think you've coached us on this too, is slow down, take a breath, and get organized before the words have to come out, because then they're going to come out a little bit more clearly and folks will be able to follow your intention. Because I don't have trouble talking. Like I'll talk a lot. being concise and being able to organize it and make sure that people are coming along with you, that's communication.
Yeah, definitely. And you're leading a lot of panels lately, aren't you? So you're speaking quite a bit these days. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, just last week I was in Texas at an energy conference that was hosted by Spear, and they're an energy South Central partnership for an efficient energy as a resource. I think I just messed that up. Sorry, Liz. But it was, had a blast. And we had 3 panelists from very different backgrounds. So we were kind of trying to weave together the different themes about energy innovation in Texas. And we had one academic student and another advocate, and then a person from BP that is working on the demand side too. So I love getting a chance to moderate, because you don't have to be the expert, but you get to kind of lead the conversation and flow through it. And then it's kind of conference season on the energy space. So we've got some industry conferences about energy efficiency and evaluation that are coming up in a couple of weeks. And I have a panel with 4 very detailed papers about different research that's been done, which is also really fun because I get to read all the papers, learn a lot, and then ask questions, both to individual authors, but how they all fit together, which is also really fun. I get to do a lot of that, like academic and business. And, that's one nice thing about energy too. It's economics, it's physics, it's social science. It's a little bit of everything, like all comes together all the time.
That's incredible. So, and I love that. And I love that you love that too. And it is, and they are different audiences too, right? Like you and I have also worked in the past on you delivering very data heavy presentations and finding ways to really simplify that information so that you can reach more people in your audience. What have you noticed around that as well? And how's that been going for you? We'll do a live check-in.
Yeah, a live check-in. there's probably, I hope there's a few people that are looking that can tell you better than that, like how it's coming through for them. But it's all about practice. Like, when you're reorganizing your pitch, or you might have a new product that you want to get out there, like practice, because the more fluid you get both with your presentation, not in kind of a, staunch sort of way, but you get familiar with what you're trying to convey and how it's going to come across and what sorts of questions you can anticipate, because typically you're going to be delivering it to similar audiences. And then that becomes fun, because if you have your material down, then you can be a better listener, back to what I was saying before, and gather that information from folks so you can better support them in solving whatever problem they might have, or maybe hearing that they don't have a problem and maybe there's something else that they're pursuing that's of interest to them, which is also really important feedback as you're growing businesses and designing software solutions and laying stuff out like
Beautiful.
that.
So what I'm hearing you say is practice, practice, practice.
Yes.
So that you can have fun.
And again, it's easier said than done.
You got to find the time.
Yep. You got to find the time, and you got to you got to see the value in it too. And it's all, I'm seeing the value in it today.
Yeah, no, I like that you say that, because it really depends on what are your goals in your own career. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to get on more stages, if you're somebody who's working for an organization, you want to build more credibility, then to be able to clearly convey your message and do it in a way that's impactful, where people are going to actually remember the content, I think is really important. And that takes practice. And so I'll just leave one little tip for people, which is, if you don't have a lot of time, or you receive the deck from somebody else and you need to turn that around pretty quickly, I always say practice your introduction a lot, out loud, always. And then practice your call to action at the end. And then that way you at least are giving yourself like this confident on-ramp for the rest of your presentation. And that's going to make all the difference in the world.
Yep. I would.
Here.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's why we keep hanging out.
That's why we keep hanging out. I love it so much.
Great advice.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with people before we bow out?
Yeah, I think, like I said before, when you follow the work that you care about, good things are going to happen. So keep doing that. Keep on keeping on that front, and your voice is going to follow. Keep speaking to what you know, and be honest about the things you don't, and keep learning.
I love it so much. Thank you, Carmen. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for getting comfortably uncomfortable and sharing your voice. Woo, you want to shake it out? You shake it out. Oh yeah. All right. Here we are on LinkedIn Live, shaking it out. If you're interested at all and you've been watching and you're curious about what Confidently Speaking is, please come join us. You can join us for free just to test it out, but we'll be there Wednesdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then Fridays, we have a cohort from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we would love to have you a part of the community. Carmen, thank you. It is always such a delight to have conversations with you and to see you. And so thanks for being here.